Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. Today is August 28th, 2025, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Nvidia came out with its quarterly earnings reports yesterday and selling off in after-hour markets, even though it beat its revenue guidance. Now, we're going to discuss it later, and we're going to break it down. But first, looking at today's major economic events, 2:30 South African time from the United States, we have a preliminary GDP, gross domestic product number, coming out. Now, breaking down the market, starting with the Forex symbols, the Canadian dollar tapers lower. And as we look at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ slightly higher. And as we look at gold, it's showing strength and an upwards momentum in stocks. Bank of America continues to push higher. And lastly, cryptocurrencies still, Bitcoin unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the Canadian dollar. Now it is sliding towards the end, and it's a 3-day slide. And we're getting to the point where we're anticipating a bounce as it hits its 30-day moving average. You can see it quite clearly there. Now, with that all said, yes, we are in summer trading here, so just be aware of it. And that means that we're lighter volume throughout next week. Now, jumping into commodities, let's look at gold as it inches higher and showing some upwards momentum here. Okay, now it's at close to its high of 3,400, and that was really where I would put resistance at. So keep that in mind. Also, looking at crude oil, not doing much here at $64. We had that up and down move, and we're somewhere in the middle of that altogether. Now, looking at the U.S. markets, yes, they inched higher yesterday, and they're back on their highs, at least the Dow Jones is. The NASDAQ is just shy of its highs. But this is going on the back of some of the stocks really taking into rotation. Now, what has been strong? Bank of America does it again, pushes to new record highs at $50.36. No, new yearly highs, at $50.36. Now it is continuing to push higher, and so is JP Morgan. Okay, right there on its highs as we're going into September. This is really major areas that we're hitting. Tesla continued to push higher, but it did hit a snag at a certain point, and so did Amazon as it slowed down its push higher as well. Now, looking at Nvidia. Okay, now this is not going to reflect after hours trading, so just be aware of it because we settled at about $75 in after hours trading. Now it gets very complicated when you get to these massive firms because these massive companies have many products. Now there is future growth products that they're selling, and there's present products that they're selling that are paying their rent. And that's really where it makes the big division. Okay, so just because a company beats its earnings, it's not necessarily good. It might be in a sector where, you know, the sales in one sector of their business outperformed another one, and thereby they beat the numbers, so to speak. Okay, so with that all said, that's the environment that we're in. Yes, they beat their estimates, but not with some of the components that they wanted to beat the estimates, or the street was waiting to beat the estimates with, and that's why the stock sold off in after hours trading. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons why, even though a company will beat its earnings, nevertheless after hours it'll sell off, because it could be a dozen reasons, right? Maybe it was already factored in, or, you know, the part of the business that they expected it to actually show growth in, it's not. And that's exactly what happened with Nvidia. So we did see a sell-off. I don't think we're going to get a major sell-off here. It's not like, you know, it's the end of the world. They still beat their earnings in billions of dollars. Okay, so put that all in perspective. But you want to just play a little bit secure, especially because we're going into the holiday weekend. Sunday following into Monday will be Memorial Day in the United States. U.S. markets will be closed, and that's usually a telltale sign of the markets just taking off between now and then. So just be aware of that as well. So I do expect lighter than expected volume as the markets re-enter their form next week. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.
My advice, this is the best time to trade.